Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of APU and Industry Career Webinars 2021. Hope everyone is doing great. My name is Shakirin and I will be your host for this session. There are a series of interesting and important webinars covering topics on accounting, AI, cybersecurity, design, digital marketing, psychology, as well as fireside chat with APU champions lining up from yesterday until tomorrow, 27th of June, in assisting those who are tuning in to make an informed decisions after school. Okay, while waiting for others to tune in, I would like to invite everyone to join APU E-Open Day to find out more on the programs offered, study pathways, application processes, as well as scholarship offering by being connected with our dedicated e-counselors whom are ever ready. Find out more at APU main website www.apu.edu.my as well as FB page and other social media platforms. All right. Due to overwhelming demand and need for more engineers to meet the upcoming challenges of the fourth industrial revolutions, IR 4.0, job prospects are very high for engineering graduates. With that, for today's topic on empowering future innovation in engineering, we are lucky to have the head of School of APU Engineering himself, Associate Professor Dr. Tang Ka-fei, as well as Dr. Lau Chi Yong, Senior Prominent Engineering Lecturer to deliver the topic. Hi, welcome Dr. Tang and Dr. Lau.
Hi, welcome everyone.
Yeah, I shall leave the full facts to Associate Professor Dr. Tang and Dr. Lau for further discovery in enhancing the future with engineering. All yours.
Right, thanks, Shakin. Okay, again, a warm welcome and good afternoon to all the audience to this particular seminar on empowering future innovation in engineering. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Dr. Tang. I'm the head of School for Engineering. And today I am also delighted to have been joined by my colleagues, engineer technologist, Dr. Lau. So Dr. Lau, you want to say again, welcome to everyone?
Hi everyone, my name is Lau. I'm a lecturer from School Engineering APU, and nice to see you and good afternoon to all of you.
Right, thanks, Dr. Lau. First of all, right, before we actually go into the details of today's presentation, I would like to ask everyone a question. The question I want to ask is like what you see there. Are engineering degrees still relevant for the future? So I believe when you open up your social media, when you're actually looking at advertisement everywhere, right? Everyone has been talking about Industrial Revolution 4.0, and a lot of technology has been mentioned, like data analytics, cybersecurity, and also Internet of Things, financial technology, and so on and so forth. But where is engineering? So it seems like engineering has not been mentioned in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So is engineering still relevant? And today's is up to myself and Dr. Lau to actually go through a series of information sharing with everyone, such that we can demystify this. Yeah. What we want to put forward is that engineering are highly relevant for the future, and if you were to study engineering programs, you are definitely will be well prepared for the future. So in order to start that, let me just go back a bit to the 18th century. Let me bring you through various different technology or industrial revolution that have happened in the past till now. So as you can see here, right, we have had 3 industrial revolution so far. The first industrial revolution is 18th century, where the steam engine is invented. And the second industrial revolution is actually happening in 19th to early 20th century. So during that time, we actually discover how to actually generate power, or what we call electricity, right? How do we also able to find out the use of oil and gas, such that we can have the internal combustion engine. And because of that, we have the car, we had a lot of different transport being invented. And also during that time, right, because of the discovery of electricity and also the combustion engine, we are able to also go into mass production. So you can see, right, from first and to second in industrial revolution, there has been technological advancement. And all of this is also due to the engineers who who are inventing the steam engines, who are also discover or find out the usage of electricity and oil and gas. And when we move to the third industrial revolution, which is in the late 20th century, we started to make use of programming as well as internet-based knowledge in order for us to automate the industrial production processes, and also in order for us to do things faster and more consistently. Again, we can see that there are a lot of involvement of engineers, right? In order for them to produce factories, they are able to actually automate the production. They're able to actually have a lot of production lines going through the production process. And now moving on to our century, 21st century, which is all of us is in now. Currently, we are undergoing what we call the fourth industrial revolution. Under the big title of IR 4.0, there are basically technologies, newer technologies that's behind all of this. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, the technology such as big data analytics, Internet of Things, cloud computing, blockchain, or whatsoever, right? And all of these technologies has been made available to us, right? Due to the advancement in semiconductor, due to the advancement in computing power. And how does it actually use to actually advance our life, right? And also to make us more convenient and also a bit more efficient. And engineers throughout the world also has been using those technology in order for them to make devices or systems that can actually enable a smarter way of manufacturing, a smarter way of processes. So now I would like to let Dr. Lau to talk about the concept of smart factory and see how industrial 4.0 technologies are used in there. Over to you, Dr. Lau.
Okay, thank you. So talking about smart factories, so smart, we have been usually listen to this word smart. We have a lot of smart items, smart camera, smartphone, smart this and smart that, smart everything. But in my opinion, actually smart to carry two different categories, two different features. So first thing first, so in order to consider this system is smart, I believe that that system is able to make self-decision. For example, what you see on the screen right now is like a factory operation. So you will usually see that there are a lot of like robot arms. They know, okay, what to pick up and how to place things and how to push forward to the next step. So this is all involving all the decision making, and this system is able to do that on its own. And also the second category about the smart system is like we are able to plug and play, which is like once we install this system, we do not need to always monitor this process. We only need to a very minimal connection to this system in order to see what is the overall processes is happening. So therefore, with these two idea, which is like able to make self-decision and also able to install and run it sustainably. So therefore, this is actually the definition of smart system. And also this is the idea which mainly being discussed in this IR 4.0. And in order to make this work, we need a lot of engineers from different aspects, different program in order to make this work. And I believe this is the smart idea that I want to talk about. And thank you. Back to you, Dr. Tang.
Right. Thanks, Dr. Lau. Like what Dr. Lau has mentioned, even though we have computer scientists, right, that actually are able to produce all the different algorithm in artificial intelligence, analytics, or IoT or whatsoever, it is the engineers that put forward and integrate all of these newer technologies of Industry 4 to put them together in order to actually able to produce a more efficient, smarter processes like what you see here in a smart factory. And according to the report by the World Economic Forum, and there are basically 11 enabling technologies. And these 11 technologies will be basically the technology that are able to produce so-called the smart factory, and also will be the main technological drivers for the future. So out of the 11 technologies, right, there are basically 7 technologies that you will be able to pick up if you actually study engineering programs. So some of this technology that is highly relevant to engineers, for example, like artificial intelligence, big data analytics, additive manufacturing, which is what we call the 3D printing, Internet of Things, system integration, autonomous robots, advanced materials and simulation. So if you were to study engineering programs, you will be able to master at least 75 to 80% out of the 11 skills that have been actually identified here. And apart from that, right, again, according to the World Economic Forum report in 2020, there are top 10 skills that are required by 2025. So if you take a look at those skills, I will not go through them one by one, but they are basically categorized into, first of all, problem-solving skills. Problem-solving skills, for example, like you have to think analytically, and you got to be innovative, and you will be able to solve problems, especially complex problem that does not have a very obvious solution or single solution. You have to be thinking critically, and you have to have creativity, originality, and also initiative. So those are the problem-solving skills that a graduate should have by 2025 in order for them to be successful. Apart from that, right, there will be also what we call the self-management skills, like what you see here, the green icon highlighted here. Like you have to have active learning, and you have to also have learning strategies, right? And also definitely stress tolerance and able to work under stress. And last but not least as well, you have to have a very good teamwork skills and leadership skills, as well as, you know, able to use technology. So which particular branch or programs that you're able to acquire all the 10 skills? And from what I can see and from what I analyzed, right, possibly only engineering programs that can let you acquire all the 10 skills totally 100%. Yeah, so by the time that you graduate from the engineering programs, you already have a strong foundation in those 10 skills that enable you to be successful in your future career. So if you're convinced now engineering are highly relevant and will be definitely be the right degree to go for in the area or industry for, then let us take a look at the progression pathway. So if you currently have obtained your SPM results, or you are already in Form 4 or Form 5 going for your SPM later, then definitely you are right here, right? So after you obtain your SPM result, you can join, first of all, the foundation year, which is taken 1 year. If you pass the foundation, you will be able to join the degree year 1. And for some of the students, right, they would like to actually go for the diploma program. So if you join the diploma program, it will take you about 2.5 years for you to complete the diploma programs. And if you pass it, then again, you are able to move to year 2 of the degree. So if you are awaiting for your STPM result, which I know will be released on 1st of July, or you already have A-level or UEC, then definitely you can have a direct entry to year 1 of the engineering programs. And all engineering programs in Malaysia that are approved by BEM, such as that available at APU, it basically consists of 4 years in duration. So you will go through your honors degree year 1, year 2, year 3, and at the end of year 3, you will go for industrial placement for 4 months. And that will serve as a good opportunity for you to be fully exposed to a real world working environment, yeah, as a junior engineer. And upon completion of your industrial placement, you will then come back to continue your year 4. And it's highly important in year 4 that you also will be completing a final year project that demonstrate you have acquired all the necessary skills in the previous past 3 years. And upon completion of the final year, you are now graduated, and you can either go for your master's or postgraduate studies and go into employment, or you can also directly go for employment. And for most of the engineering students, definitely is the ultimate aim for you to actually attain what we call professional engineer. Yeah, and this is something that we will also explain a bit later in the presentation. So if we look at what are the engineering degree programs available at APU, there are basically 5 degree programs that is offered by the School of Engineering at APU. So the degree program will be none other than Mechatronic Engineering, Electrical Electronic, Telecommunication, Patronum, and Computer Engineering. So later in the presentation, we will go through each of these programs in a bit more detail, and we will also explain to you what will be the career prospects if you are graduates of the following degree programs. We will also highlight what will be the distinct advantage if you choose to study engineering at APU. So the first clear advantage will be all the 5 engineering programs that are highlighted just now, they are all accredited by Board of Engineers Malaysia, or what we call BEM. So this is actually very important. So first thing first, right? To be actually accredited by Board of Engineers Malaysia, all the engineering degree programs have to be 4 years in duration. Yeah, so that's number one. Secondly, is that the degree program have to meet certain level of quality expectation in terms of teaching and learning resources, also in terms of the quality of the staff and the students as well as the facilities. So all the 5 engineering program at APU have been fully accredited by BEM. Yeah. So secondly is that once the degree are accredited by BEM, it also means that the degree programs are recognized worldwide by International Engineering Alliance members. There are 21 members in total that have signed on to an agreement called Washington Accord. And under this particular agreement, what it says is that if any of the member countries engineering qualification recognized, it also means that the same qualification will also be recognized by 21 other member countries as well. So who are the members? Like what you see here, right? This particular list basically show you the full 21 signatories of the Washington Accord. If you take a look, definitely Malaysia is a member. Apart from that, you will have United States, UK, you will have Japan, Korea, Singapore, China, India, Australia, and many others. What it means is that once you have graduated from APU engineering degree program, your degree program will be recognized in those countries. And definitely you are able to further your postgraduate studies in this country, as well as you are able to register as a graduate engineer and moving towards attaining your professional engineer status in these countries as well. So the worldwide recognition of the engineering degree is the most important aspect that you should consider when you study any engineering programs. So you may ask me a question, how about those countries which are not in the list? For example, France, for example, Germany, for example, Sweden or Norway. So don't worry, when you apply to this country, they always will be referring back to Washington Accord as well. And they have to be able to see that the degrees program is recognized by BEM, then they will be able to accept you to enter into their postgrad program and so on and so forth. So just let me summarize. Yeah. So if you were to go for engineering program accredited by Board of Engineers Malaysia, upon graduation, you will be able to register as a graduate engineer with Board of Engineers Malaysia, and you will also be able to register as a graduate engineer in the professional engineering bodies of other countries within the Washington Accord as well. And definitely, once you are a graduate engineer, you are on the right pathway to become either a professional engineer or a chartered engineer. And also, you will have the good assurance that the engineering programs that you study, as well as your own competency, has meet international standards for engineering practice. Okay, so now I would like to get engineer technologist Dr. Lau to talk about the routes to professional engineer. Over to you, Dr. Lau.
Okay, thank you. I want to say that being an engineer is actually having a lot of privileges because in a lot of the country, they are having something like a union in order to protect engineers. For example, in Malaysia, we have a Board of Engineers Malaysia. So what are the benefits of joining this kind of union? So which is actually providing you a lot of opportunity in order to enhance in your career pathway. And this professional engineer is one of those. So look at this chart. We are actually having 4 different columns, starting from the academic requirement up to the graduate registration, training requirement, and also professional registration. So what are the minimum requirement, which is from the first column, we know that we had to study our engineering program with the accredited university, which is APU, which is already having that accreditation. And after you have completed all the 4-year studies and you passed your exam and everything, you will now become a graduate member. So therefore, this is also will be registered automatically upon your graduation. So now you can call yourself an engineer, and this is actually something compulsory in Malaysia. It is like if you want to drive, you need to have a driving license. But if you want to become an engineer, you must have the BEm graduate engineer membership. So therefore, this you do not have to worry. After you graduate from APU, you will already having this one ready. And once you graduated, become a graduate member, you will need to go for the training requirement, which is like minimum 3 years for the relevant work experience. And also you need to be supervised, and also you need to be mentored by 2 professional engineers. So after you have completed all the requirements up on here, you are now qualified to undergo the professional registration, which is involving a series of assessment, including the interviews and also the essay. So once you have passed all those assessments, you are now becoming a professional engineer, and you have earned a title of IR in front of your name. So therefore, there are a lot of benefit of being engineer in Malaysia, and this is just one of those. But I believe this can give you the enough recognition that you might want to excel in your career path. And thank you, and back to Dr. Tang.
Right. Thank you, Engineer Technologist Dr. Lau. As you would aware as well, Dr. Lau has also attained his professional engineer status as well. Yeah. So now, the other advantage of studying engineering at APU definitely will be the APU De Montfort University Dual Award degrees. So like what you see here is that when you register as an engineering student at APU, you can actually opt to study for the dual award degrees. You will go for classes, you will go for assessment exactly the same way as the single degree student. However, upon graduation, you will also be obtaining a transcript as well as a Master of Engineering degree certificate from De Montfort University as well. The reason is because De Montfort University is actually our quality partner. They are very confident on the quality of students as well as the standards of engineering program that is offered at APU. So they're happy to offer their degree certificate and their academic transcripts to our students. They are actually registered under the dual award degrees. So what is the benefit of that? Basically, right, look at it this way, is that you are able to add on to your CV, you're able to actually improve on your profile, right? Because apart from having a degree from the Malaysian university, you also have a degree from De Montfort University, UK as well. So if you would like to further your career elsewhere in the world, that a UK degree is far more recognizable, definitely that will be to your advantage. However, I would like to stress here is that for professional registration, for registration as a graduate engineer, definitely the APU degree certificate will be sufficient for you to actually to be registered as a graduate engineer, and also for your engineering qualification to be recognized worldwide, like what I mentioned earlier in Washington Accord. All right, so let me again highlight what are the programs available at APU before we go into describing each of the program in detail. Like I mentioned before, right, if you have your SPM or O-level qualification, then definitely the first thing that you need to look at is entry into our foundation program for engineering pathway. And the requirement for that will be you need to have at least 5 credits in SPM. However, you have to have a credit in mathematics and physics or chemistry at SPM or O level. And definitely you have to pass your Bahasa, Malaysia, and also Sejarah. So if you would like to enter our diploma program, which is a diploma in electrical and electronic engineering, you need to have at least 3 credits at SPM O level, including maths and any other science subject, which is general science, physics, or chemistry. And definitely you have to have a pass in Bahasa Malaysia, Sejarah, and English as well. So once you have graduated from foundation or diploma, from foundation program, you can then go into year 1 of the 5 engineering degree program listed here. If you have graduated from diploma in electrical electronic, you can enter 4 engineering program except Patronum. Because for you to enter Patronum, you have to have chemical engineering, chemistry background, which is not actually offered in the content of diploma in E&E engineering. Okay, right now, we would like to go into each of the 5 engineering programs, and we will tell you what are the difference, among all the 5 programs, and what are the career prospects and things like that. So now I would like to pass to Dr. Lau again for him to actually highlight on mechatronic and computer engineering. Over to you, Dr. Lau.
Okay, thank you. So, everyone, so if you look at the word mechatronics, so therefore we know that this is actually a combination of two different words. The first is the mechanical, and second is the electronic. So therefore, talking about, maybe you can change to the next slide. So, talking about mechanical, so usually mechanical is a branch of engineering which focus on designing component, machine, process system with the fundamental knowledge of force, energy, and motion. So therefore, this is what you can understand is in as long as the system or any machine that involve the movement or involve any moving parts. So therefore, we need mechanical engineer in order to study the best system, the best improvement in order to produce the machine or the system. And electronics is actually playing with the circuits in order to know that you to use the microprocessor or the microcontroller in order to control things. And also the reason that we need the mechanical to be combined with mechatronics is because of the current market demand. As you know that we moving to the industrial revolution 4.0, we definitely need a lot of automation, and this automation is perfectly the well blend in between electronic and also mechanical and also mechatronics, which is more beneficial. So therefore the comparison, how to say, is not the straightforward one-to-one comparison, but I want to say that in order to meet the market demand for the IR 4.0, definitely mechatronic is the knowledge that you must be acquired in order to enter to this field. So we can move to the next slide. And also this is some example of the products that mechatronic engineer is inventing. Okay, so we can see some spot by Boston and also Tesla. So maybe this is something too, how to say, futuristic, or maybe this is not common in our daily life. But let me name you one example that you might be seeing it every day. For example, like the vacuum robot. Okay, so the vacuum robot is like a frisbee in which will go around your house and also clean the house and also absorb the dust. So therefore, that is perfectly like the mechatronic invention because it involved the sensors, actuator, involved the motor in order to move around the house. And also you need the electronics in order to control it, to power it, in order to go back and recharge. And this is actually the perfect combination of mechanical and electronics. And we can move to the next slide. And why study mechatronic engineering? So as you know that the market right now is moving towards to IR 4.0, and this is actually unavoidable. You cannot say that, I still prefer the old school style. Cannot, because the market is moving in this way. So therefore, the best thing that you have to do is to prepare yourself in order to equip with all this knowledge. So that is the reason studying mechatronic engineering can actually enable you in order to be one step ahead compared to any other program which is relevant to it. And also the skill and also the specialization that we will offer in the mechatronic engineering is fully complying with what the market is demanding right now. And also move to the next slide. And typical job scope, mechatronic engineer. So therefore, as long as you see there's a factory or there's a company, they are doing automation, they need to produce any automated system, or they need to produce any machines, which is having all the elements that I have mentioned just now, actually you are in the right place. So therefore, mechatronic engineer, actually the demand is very, very popular, as now we know that a lot of control and also the processes is involving all the electronic and also mechanical parts. So therefore, definitely mechatronic engineer, there is a lot of demand and ongoing demand even up to the next 20 or 30 years. So we can go to the next slides. And talking about the second program that I'm going to introduce, which is a computer engineering. So this is also, again, another combination, but this is a combination of electronic and also computer science. And we can move to the next slide. So computer engineering. So therefore, why study computer engineering? So I want to give you a scenario, which is using the example that I used just now, which is the vacuum robot, the robot vacuum. So maybe 10 years ago, when you purchase a robot vacuum and you find that it's very stupid because you always go to bang the wall and also never clean some corners, that is the 10 years ago robot vacuum. But nowadays, you can actually afford a very smart robot vacuum, which is actually not very expensive, but it is smarter than the 10 years ago robot vacuum. So why is this happening? Because we have added a touch of a computer science in order to all the electronics that we are using in order to make it more smarter, to make it smarter. And also computer engineering and also computer science. So generally, what are the main difference between them? So computer science is actually basically doing with a lot of programming and also data analytics and all that, but their main task is actually play with the laptop. They are doing all their work in a laptop. Computer engineering is like combination with the electronics. So why do we need a specialization in this? Because talking about the robot vacuum just now, you can't possibly put a laptop on top of a robot vacuum, right? So that is the reason you need to design like a special microcontroller or microprocessor, which is having the similar powerful features compared to the computer sciences. So in order to have the similar characteristic. And also, yeah, we can move to the next slide. So the typical job scope, once again, I want to relate to the current IR 4.0. So as we know that the smart category that I mentioned just now, the first one is it is able to make the own decision. So how does all the machine knows how to do the correct decision at the correct timing? So that is the reason that we need a computer engineer in order to come and implement the system. So therefore, we also cannot avoid that our life is actually become better and better because there are a lot of intelligence that we put to the things around us, like our laptop, our machine, like a lot of devices, all that. So therefore, you know that you are already using that. But of course, we also need somebody to develop that. So that is also another reason that the computer engineers start to bloom. And also, I believe it can also last for the next 30 years. And yeah, so in the popular market demand, I believe this is the best decision if you choose to study computer engineer. Okay, so back to you, Dr. Tang.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Lau. Very good sharing on mechatronic and also computer engineering. If I look at the devices and systems that I have in my home as well, definitely I'm also one of the devices or computer engineers. And if you take a look at the industry as well, definitely a lot of automation, a lot of intelligence system has been also developed by the engineers, and definitely there are a lot of advancement in that area. So now it's my turn to share a bit about electrical and electronic engineering. If you take a look at this particular program, typically you can actually imagine it as 50% focus on electrical engineering and 50% focus on electronic engineering. So what is electrical engineering? Electrical engineering basically concerning about power generation, concerning about how do we actually distribute the relevant power to the household, to the factory, as well as focusing on renewable energy and all the relevant power-based electronics on that area. When we come to the electronics, right, we actually cover concepts like basic circuit design, integrated circuit, analog integrated circuit, and also how do we actually program embedded systems. That is also part of the electronics. So electrical and electronic engineering basically combine the best of both electrical and also electronic, such that upon graduation, you will have a very broad knowledge in this area. And definitely, if you ask me, right, why is it important? Because if you look at the various different industry, be it telecommunication, be it electrical vehicle, or be it aerospace or any other area, you always need electrical engineers, you always need electronics engineers. So therefore, it's very versatile in your career option. You can be either a very generalist like a sales or maintenance engineer, or you can be a very specialized engineer in certain aspects. And definitely when it comes to the career employment or the job opportunity, there are a lot of opportunity for you in the career market. And typically, what would you do as an electrical or electronic engineer? It really depends on your specialization. If you have decided to specialize in electrical, definitely you are basically analyze the requirement and also cost of electrical system in power system, or maybe you also work on the electrical machinery area. If you would like to focus on electronic, you are basically involved in designing, developing, testing, or even supervising the development or manufacturing of electronic devices and systems. Or even you can also do a combination of both. It really depends on what kind of industry, what kind of job that you will eventually involving yourself in. And the other thing that I would like to talk about is also telecom engineering, right? I believe everyone heard of 5G before. Everyone heard of Wi-Fi. Now Wi-Fi 6, right? Bluetooth 5.1. Those are the telecommunication protocol that is actually very important. The reason is actually very simple, right? Now during lockdown, all of us has to stay at home. For some of us, like your parents as well, they have to work from home, so they rely a lot on their smartphone. They rely a lot on their internet, right? Such that they can actually attend meetings by using Zoom, Google Meet, or even Microsoft Teams, for example. So in the process, right, they actually require a very fast and stable data transmission. So being a telecom engineer means that you will actually learn all the relevant technology behind the hardware infrastructure and also the relevant software protocol, such as to maintain a very stable and fast transmission and data rate. And the kind of area that you will involve in will be including wired and also wireless transmission, right? I think one of the most popular name that we keep hearing is 5G. And we also have been looking forward for 5G to come to Malaysia very soon as well. So why you want to study telecom engineering? As I mentioned just now, right? Now there is a higher and higher demand in terms of faster and stable data rate. Definitely, we will need specialist engineer. In terms of infrastructure, which is the hardware side, or in terms of the software protocol side, in order for us to be able to sustain a fast and also a stable data rate. So therefore, you can work in those relevant industry. So there are two industry that you can get yourself involved in. You can either work in the so-called the downstream area, which is actually more towards designing telecommunication equipment. Companies like Huawei, companies like ZTE, or even Ericsson, right? They are basically coming up with various different infrastructure in order to support the transmission and the receiver of the data. You can also work with the upstream area, which is basically providing a services to the consumer. For example, like Masses, like Celcom, like DG, or many others, right? So you can also work into in those area, and you can also help to see whether the network coverage is sufficient or whether you need to put up more transmission tower in order to fulfill the demand in the area. So definitely, it's a very exciting area to go into, and it's never stopping, right? Not only we talk about 5G, now we started to talk about 6G. So as a telecom engineer, you are always updated with the latest technology. So if you take a look at the job scopes, right? Typically, as I said before, there are many different areas you can work with. If you work in the front end, definitely you will be analyzing customer needs in telecommunication, or you'll be also working in the back end, right, where you will design, update telecommunication equipment and also systems. Apart from that, right, you can also be in charge of servicing or maintaining telecommunication equipment, as well as providing training to end users as well. For example, to technician in terms of servicing and also using of the new telecommunication equipment. And the last area that I want to talk about is on Patronum engineering. So I know when you hear of this term Patronum engineering, everyone immediately think that, you know, Patronum now is a sunset industry, and recently, you know, the job opportunity is not a lot. But let me tell you this, according to the survey, we still have to rely on oil and gas, right? Crude oil and natural gas for 100 years to come. Just to think about this way, right? Even now we have electric vehicle, we have our hybrid vehicle, we still need power plant. Yeah, right. We still need power plant that actually produce the necessary power such that it can power the electric charging station to charge our electric vehicle. And what is the main resources behind the power plant? We still rely on natural gas, for example, in Malaysia. So therefore, petroleum is still very, very important. And definitely right now, we are looking into green and sustainable way of extracting crude oil, such that we can actually sustain the usage of oil and gas for the longer run. So if you were the student in petroleum engineering, typically you'll be studying two aspects. One is the exploration of oil. The other one is the production of oil, which is converting the crude oil and natural gas into the end product. So why you should study petroleum engineering? So if you are someone that like a challenging and exciting career, if you are someone that like to go to various countries in the world, that would like to go to remote area or even on the sea, in order for you to get a lot of experience in exploration, definitely petroleum engineering is for you. Yeah, because you will get a lot of opportunity to be posted in a lot of other places, in a very exotic places, because these are the places where we normally going for oil exploration. And if you are someone that like to study geography, they are highly interested in earth sciences, definitely petroleum engineering is for you as well. And what will be your typical job scope? As I mentioned before, right, as a petroleum engineer, there are many different areas that you can be specializing in. If you take a look at the exploration area, right, the oil exploration, you'll be looking at designing equipment in order for you to extract oil and gas from onshore and also offshore oil or gas reserve, deep underground, the seabed, or even the land. Or you may be also developing certain plans, right? So once you discover the crude oil and or natural gas reserve, you got to actually drill, right? You got to drill and extract the oil and gas. Again, you're looking into drilling engineering in order for you to see how do you extract the oil. And again, right, once you have the oil and gas, you also will be looking into a way of injecting water, chemical gases, right? So that you can actually extract a lot more oil and gas out of the seabed. So therefore, right, you can see there are many different areas you can be involving in. It depends on your interest. But as a petroleum engineering student, you are actually covering all the areas that is concerning the exploration and also the production of oil and gas. So there you go. Now we have actually covered all the 5 engineering programs they are offered at APU. But one thing for sure is important, which is on industrial placement or internship. As I mentioned before as well, as an engineering student, it's a compulsory for you to go for 16 weeks of industrial placement with relevant company at the end of your year 3. So before you enter year 4. So there are basically 250 companies currently registered with the School of Engineering, and they are more than happy to provide placement to our students. However, at APU, we will not just place you directly with the company. We will also go through workshops to teach how you can write a good CV. We will also go through interview skills workshop as well as safety and ethics workshop in order to prepare you to be accepted by the company and also for you to actually work well and also be able to perform excellently well while you are attaching with those companies. So what you see on the right hand side here is actually some of the companies that our graduate has attached with in the past and currently. And do you know that a lot of them actually bring back projects from the company and they use it as their final year project in their year 4, and after that they actually ended up employed by the same company as well. So again, this is also what we would like to see in our students as well. Apart from that, let me now focus on the engineering program itself. Apart from the industrial attachment, apart from the distinct elements of each of the program, we also need to look at, right, what are the skills that we want to equip for our graduates such that they can be successful when they graduate from the degree. There are basically 12 skills that we will be embedding in the engineering program from year 1 to year 4. And these particular skills, we call them as program outcomes, or in general, graduate attributes. And as an engineering graduate, you have to be able to master all the 12 skills as listed here in order for you to be work ready and definitely world ready as well. And also, we would like to highlight that all the 12 skills is also clearly stated by Washington Accord. And these are all the important skills that engineers should have in order for them to be successful. And you can take a look at this particular diagram, right? There are not only engineering knowledge or practical skill, they also involve a lot of skills like project management, finance, ethics, teamwork, communication, and so on and so forth. So if you can relate back to what I said much earlier, it actually corresponds very well to the top skills that are required by 2025. Apart from that as well, if you are a student in engineering program, there are many different teaching and learning activities that you will be involving in. So not only you'll be attending lectures and tutorial, you will be also going through various different activities like case study, flipped classroom, as well as experiments or labs, or even you will be able to model or simulate certain engineering system as well. And also, when come to the learning, right? Now we are in full lockdown, or even before that, we're in MCO, right? You will have encounter the usage of a lot of different tools, like a lot of online tools and technology, in order for you to go online and attending lectures online. So at APU, we are using Microsoft Teams, we are using Microsoft OneNote, Whiteboard, and also Microsoft Streams in order for us to make available the written notes as well as recorded lectures to our students. Apart from that as well, when we come to the lab experiment, apart from the virtual lab experiment that our student can go through, when there is an opportunity for the lab to open post MCO, for example, there are a lot of workshops for the student such that they can come back and re-engage with the lab, because lab is actually very important for engineering students for them to acquire relevant psychomotor skills. And apart from that, right, definitely when you are choosing engineering program, you have to take a look at what kind of exposure the programs can provide you. At APU, right, when we come to the curriculum, not only we focus on the theory and experimental aspect, we also focus a lot on employment readiness. So what is to say is that in all your assessments, for example, you'll be asked to present your ideas. You are either asked to present your ideas individually or as a team. So that is the practice for us to ensure that you have relevant communication skill in order for you to be successful in your future career. You will be also be tested in a lot of facts finding, investigation, problem solving skill, and that is also one of the very important skills, right? If you want to work as engineers, you are constantly problem solving at any time. So therefore, those are the employment readiness skills that we sort of embed in our curriculum to ensure that you are successful the moment that you graduated. Apart from that, right, we also look at our staff expertise very importantly. So not only we will hire staff with very good academic experience, we also will have staff with very uh, experience in terms of industrial. So they have worked in the industry for many years and they are able to join the academic team. And when they are doing the teaching and learning delivery, they will be able to share what they learn from the industry to our students, such that not only you have the theoretical foundation, you also have the practical dimension to all the courses and modules that you study. And also a lot of the lecturers at APU Engineering, they are either professional or chartered engineers as well. So what I mean is that they have demonstrated a certain level of competency, yeah, in their professional career, and definitely it will also benefit you as a student going through different modules of different specialization. Apart from that as well, we also have a lot of industrial linkages with many companies, and the industrial linkages can be in two ways. Either the company are providing placement for our students, or the company actually providing final year project titles for our student. So you just imagine, right? Before you even graduate, you are able to work on certain projects, which are basically trying to solve problems for those company. And if you take a look at the list of this company, you can see there are many names recognizable as well. And last but not least, right, being an engineering student, you have to be able to engage with professional engineering societies as well. So at APU, there are three professional student societies, which is the Institution of Engineers Malaysia, Institution of Mechanical Engineers from the UK, and also the Society of Patronum Engineers based in the US. So you are able to join a lot of the activities and workshops organized by the student committee of those societies as well. All right, I would like to pass to Dr. Lau to talk more about visits, workshops, as well as competitions at the School of Engineering. Over to you, Dr. Lau.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tang. So, to all of you which is watching this live, I want to tell you that we actually believe that the education is not only happening in the classroom. And also, we also believe that university is actually like a mini community, which is simulating that what will be the real life that once you have already graduated and also you started working. So therefore, involving all these industrial visits is actually part of the things that we provide to all the students in order to let them to feel. So, for example, maybe you are saying that, yeah, I can also get this kind of information, maybe from the YouTube, maybe from the magazine, maybe from the newspaper and all those. But we believe the feeling is different. As long as you are seeing the machine and also the processes is happening in front of you, you will be only like stimulated in order to know that, okay, what are the theory and also knowledge behind it, and also how is it related to all the programs that you are studying. And also industry visit, we constantly bring students to companies, and these are some of the pictures. And also right now, even though it's in a lockdown period, but we also provide some of the e-visit, which is similar to the visit, but yeah, you are seeing that from the screen. But that is also having more targeted information and also knowledge with that will be being passed to all the audience. And also we can move to the next slide. And also the industrial linkage. The reason we are keep doing all this industrial linkage is in order, because of the objective of our school is to provide graduates which is employable. How to know they are employable? So therefore we give the actual real industrial projects for them, especially in the year 4 for the final year projects. So therefore that is actually your first chance. And also you will be doing, even though you are still a student, but you will be doing a real industrial work. So therefore, that is a reason we have a lot of good relationship with all the industries out there. And also we can move to the next. And talking about the workshops, even though we are having the classes in the classroom, like the usual classes, but some of the knowledge and also some of the technique, maybe we do not need the entire semester in order to learn that. But for example, like the workshop, whenever there is a new technology, like the recent workshop is about the recent workshop that I conducted, which is the LoRa, the low range communication system. So therefore, this kind of technique is actually can be taught inside any workshops like this. So therefore, these are also the things that we provide to the students in order to you to equip yourself to be future ready. And also we can move to the next slide. And these are some of the examples of the workshops. So I just want to tell you that we have a variety of workshops. So the variety of workshops, so which is something like the some extra knowledge that you have to know. I mean, it's better that for you to have. So in order to prepare yourself even more. So therefore, once you graduated, you're actually having more knowledge compared to any other who never attend this kind of workshops. Okay. And also we can move to the next. And about how do we actually test the competency of the students? So we bring them to competitions. So maybe you are thinking that, okay, I learned so much in the school, in the classroom, but so is this relevant? So is this correct? Am I in the correct pathway? So therefore, this is the perfect platform that you can actually test yourself. Because all these challenges and also all this competition usually organized by some very famous international company. So therefore, that is the platform that you will know that what you are doing, is it up to their standard? Is it up to the requirement and also the market demand? And also we have a lot of student achievement every year. So therefore, what you see right now is up to 2021. So therefore, all this is actually a very good platform because we as a lecturer, we are able to mentor, and also we know that what you should do, and also to prepare you guys in order to participate in this kind of competition. And also we are not only winning competition in Malaysia level, we are also winning in the international level. For example, like the one that you are seeing right now, this is one of the competition that organized in Taiwan. The organizer is from Taiwan. And also you have to understand that, so even though in an international platform that we are participating, we are still able to win. We are still able to achieve. So therefore, this is relevant, and also this is true that according to what we claim, that we are actually producing the employable graduates, which is up to the international standards. And also this student achievement, actually, I personally know this student. This student, this is actually his final year project, which is using the control and monitoring system or mechanized musical instrument. So I know this student from the year 1, and also this student actually told me that he wanted to do some FYP which is related to music. but he's actually an engineering student. So how does it do? So how does he actually combine engineering and also music? And this is actually the outcome. So I also very happy to tell you that we are actually also providing this kind of freedom. For example, you have any idea, you want to test out something, you want to experiment things. So therefore, this is actually what we can provide to you. So therefore, in this final year project is actually also winning some of the competition. And this is actually about the APITA, which we consecutively winning for a lot of years. And he is also one of them. And also next is the Reason Award, which is also mentored by me. So this is called the Hilti Global IT Competition. And actually, I'm in the picture on the left. So this is a IT competition. So IT competition, but these students are actually from the team of engineering. So therefore, this again showing that the versatility, that the idea, I mean the knowledge that we teach in the class is not only equipping students for the engineering only. So therefore, this is also another proof that the student that we provide with the student that we produce is able to meet the market demand and also expectation to the international level. And I believe that is the last thing for the achievement, right? So I believe that's all from me. And also back to you, Dr. Tang.
Thanks, Dr. Lau. I think a special mention to the Hilti competition, right, Dr. Lau? I know that all the students are from engineering year 2. So even students at year 2 level, they're able to beat participants from 43 other countries and able to emerge as a champion for the Hilti Global IT competition. So just think about it, right? I mean, as engineering student winning an IT competition. So I think that is a really real testimony of the quality of students that we are producing at APU and also at the School of Engineering. And thanks, Dr. Lau, for the sharing. All right, so moving on to the last few parts before the end is if you're interested to know more about the activities and also the lecturers and student activities, right, for School of Engineering, we actually have what we call the Engineers Insight newsletter, and we are now currently at our 24th volume. So let me just click on that and show you a bit of it. So what you see here is basically the Engineer Insight newsletter that it actually contains a lot of articles written by our students as well as our lecturers. So if you're interested to know more, the link is actually here. You can actually take a look. Apart from that, right, this is just some of the pictures of the lab, and I hope that you have a chance to visit our campus if the full lockdown is actually over. And apart from that as well, in terms of alumni, you can see that these are some of the alumni that have been working in some of the companies. Some of them will be quite familiar to you. For example, like Top Glove, Schneider Electric, or Fuji Xerox. And this is just some of the graduates that are actually working there. And we are still maintaining contact with our alumni. We have our alumni session once every year, and many of them have actually come back to deliver talks to the student, right? And also to recruit our students to become engineers of the company. For example, Nicholas Tan, he is currently the assistant manager at Top Glove. He has been to APU a few times in order to actually recruit our students in order to join him in automating a lot of the production processes at Top Glove. All right, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for your attention. And now we can go into the Q&A session. So back to you, Ms. Shakirin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tang and Dr. Lau, for the informative sessions. Now we are open for Q&A from the audience. So we do have some questions here from the floor. Okay. From Richpal Singh. What is chartered engineer and how you become a chartered engineer?
Dr. Lau, you want to answer that as well?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, Mr. Brijpal Singh, I hope you're still listening. Okay, so for chartered engineer, actually, I personally also having the qualification of a chartered engineer as well. So what I know about which is actually just provided by different institution. For example, chartered engineer, for example, I believe you also heard of like chartered banker, chartered accountant. So this is all like the British standard. And also the chartered engineer that I have is actually given by the IET, the Institution of Engineering and Technology from UK. But what I want to tell you is the qualification, the qualification is actually similar. For example, I'm also a professional engineer in Malaysia. And also this is true that if you have a chartered engineer, you can actually come to Malaysia in order to apply to become a professional engineer. So they will be actually evaluating your chartered engineer membership in order to convert it to become a professional engineer in Malaysia. So therefore, basically the essence, the content is similar, but just because of it's given by different institutions, so therefore we have a different names. But a lot of what I know is you don't have to worry because the coverage of the chartered engineer, also professional engineer, is actually wide enough to the around the international, a lot of country also recognizing. So therefore, basically, you can actually having the same preparation, but you apply from a different institution in order to get a different qualification from different institution. Yeah, I believe this is my answer to your question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lau. Okay, let's take another one from Ayman Lee. Is it true that BEM do not recognize 3 years degree programs and only 4-year programs are recognized?
Right, Shakirin, I think I can answer that. According to the definition by Washington Accord, right, the undergraduate engineering degree program that are recognized are only 4 years duration. So it's very important that if you were to study engineering programs in Malaysia, please ensure that you go for the 4-year engineering degree program. So upon graduation, if the program is actually recognized by BM and going through the accreditation, you can then register as a graduate engineer and and also on the right pathway to become professional engineer. If you go to some of the colleges that offer 3-year, unfortunately you will not be able to register with BEM as graduate engineer. You may be asked to actually do a 1-year top-up master in order for you to be registered with them. So that is basically true, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Tang and Dr. Lau. So everyone, don't forget to tune in for next sessions on accounting, automations, and analytics at 3:30 p.m. So with that, we have come to the end for these sessions. We shall conclude or end these sessions with a quote from Robert Anton Heinlein that shall affirm today's topic. One man's magic is another man's engineering. Supernatural is a null word. So future engineers out there, come forward and engineer your potentials and magic at APU. Thank you once again, everyone. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.